Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dropped Frames. I thought the glasses were going to be green screen, Zeke, but they're somehow still alive and not. You don't just have
Yeah, they're
shades sitting on your face. It looks good.
they're a little day glow neon, so they're a little bit brighter green than would get keyed out. I thought it'd be the same way, but
Yeah.
no, they just kind of have like a cool, like fuzzy glow around the edges.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. What episode are we on?
Go with 8156.
8156. We've got games to talk about. Co's been playing some Metro. I regrettably played Anthem, which kind of tells you how that talk's going to go.
Well, I wonder
Regrettably.
about it.
Zeke started his RE2 adventure, which was a lot of fun because we'll just kind of jump into that for a quick second. I watched you shoot a zombie about 30 times in the head, and after you shot said zombie, I realized that it looks slightly like me, and that made me really happy.
Yeah,
Because you were really
there's
frustrated with it.
definitely like a JP styled zombie in the game.
It looked like my
And-
driver's license. Because you've
And
seen that.
Yeah, I have seen it.
Yeah.
And just like you, it just won't go away.
Yeah.
Like no matter how many
No matter
times
how
you
much
shoot
you
it
want it
down,
to.
like yeah, no shit. It just keeps on coming.
It's great.
And just annoying.
It was
Just
great.
terribly annoying.
It was great. What else is going on? Path of Exile announced some new league stuff. A bunch of game news going out there. But I think I want to start. I'm really interested in hearing Co talk about Metro, because I don't think he's talked about it enough in the past week.
Metris, that new crossover of Metro and Tetris Battle
Yeah,
Royale.
or it's the shorthand version of Metro Exodus. It's Metris.
Metrodis.
Metrodus. I think I called it that as well earlier this week. I think I said Metrodus once. So we will start there.
Radulina.
I'm going to start in the last VOD because there's no spoilers right there, Co. I could just start with the most recent VOD, right?
No, don't do that.
You mean the one that's marked the conclusion of Metro Exodus it contains spoilers?
The big problem with this particular game in the Metro universe is it's like there's huge spoilers throughout the whole thing if you're a Metro fan. Like just seeing some of the locations can be a huge spoiler to many Metro fans. So it's yeah. But just to talk about the game a little bit. Metro Exodus is my current game of the year. Now there's many more games this year, but this one, Exodus was something very special. I had a great time in it. I loved every minute of it. I actually had to replay about 6 hours of it. Still absolutely enjoyed it. In fact, I'm really glad I replayed it because I actually did something differently that potentially saved something. So that was kind of awesome. I'm low. Apparently, I'm pretty low.
I already turned you up.
Okay, cool. But yeah, Metro Exodus is awesome. It's my favorite Metro game. They really nailed the open world mechanics. The new weapon crafting and customization system is completely top notch. I hope we see this in like a lot of different games. It's super intuitive. It's easy to use. They really reward you for exploring side locations by giving you these tangibly awesome upgrades to your weapons. And being able to just mix and match them whenever you want is fantastic. So like so many times I'd be walking around with like a default loadout, and then I'd get to a location and I'd take out my binoculars and look around and be like, okay, let's see. And I'd take out my pack and I'd be like, okay, let's pull out the shotgun, put the short range on that. Let's take the red dot off the AK, put on the 4X. Let's put a silencer on it because it looks like I'm going to be hunting humans. And it just kind of lets everything flow together. It's really cool. Also, the difficulty I played on Ranger Hardcore was really pretty brutal with the resource management. And for a player like me, especially on 100% run, it felt great. Like every piece of loot felt mandatory, which is not common for me in a 100% game. It wasn't until like a third to halfway through the game that I started like capping out my resources and realizing that I had to like build more ammo and stuff like that. The whole first about third, I was scrounging the entire time and always behind on resources. But again, that's the best thing I could ask for as somebody who likes to play these games that way. But yeah, it was really, really great. I finished it this morning. I got the good ending. And yeah, I loved every minute. I also was very happy about, again, not to spoil it too much, but for a good chunk of the middle to near end of the game, I was fully convinced that something was going to happen that I didn't want to happen. And I actually mentioned multiple times, like, oh, if this happens, this is going to be so tropey and I'm not going to like it. And sure enough, I got to the end and like was just like, awesome. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Like it definitely was better than expected. So, but well, I say that, but it's still pretty terrible. Anyway, it's Metro. You know, it's a nice big shade of gray. But yeah, it was a very fun experience, and I honestly can't wait to go through. I'm going to be doing a Darth Artyom playthrough, like an all kill, get everyone killed. Let's see how bad it can get kind of run. Don't know when I'm going to do that, but I'm already looking forward to it because I can't wait to play it again.
So speaking to what I know, at least in Resident Evil 2, in terms of the resource management and the lack of resources, does it compare at all? Does it ride that line of like just giving you just enough, kind of like Resident Evil does?
It's a little bit different because of the open world approach. Resident Evil was super well. What's the best way to say it? What was well paced? The way that Resident Evil worked, because it was constantly like funneling you into certain areas and certain locations. It was very well paced in how you got the resources. But the thing to remember with this game is it's semi-open world.
Right.
So, theoretically, you could go out and do all the side stuff and load up on resources before going to the main story. I will say that I did watch a few streamers play on the hardest difficulty and not play the way I did. And they had some very tough times. There were a few locations where, like, one streamer I watched just completely ran out of air because he had no filters and no resources. And it was right after a quick save. And he was like almost screwed. He got lucky and found a filter, which then got him to the next save point and got him out of the area he was in. But he almost had to like restart his playthrough because he wasn't doing enough resource harvesting and looking around enough. Other people I've seen in very bad situations when they run out of ammo and they can't build anymore and they don't have the right equipment. Sometimes when guns get super dirty and you never clean them, they can start like being super inaccurate, and shotguns don't do as much damage as things like that. So it's not quite the pace of Resident Evil 2, but if you don't pay attention and loot, especially on the hardest difficulty, you're in for a rough time. And it's already pretty rough. Like, enemies can one-shot you. There's snipers that'll just one-shot you. If you let that red dot sit on your character long enough, you'll just die. Other enemies will combo you. And some enemies are super silent, super quick, and there's like lots of them at once. So if you turn your back, all of a sudden your screen turns red 3 times and you're dead. So,
jeez.
Yeah, it can be pretty rough.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of people, and I think maybe you as well, you'll encounter enemies and you immediately start like playing a stealth game. Is that something that happens frequently? As someone who doesn't necessarily like stealth games?
You can. It's completely up to you. You can kind of just go right in and start shooting at things. But the nice thing about in Last Light, they adjusted the stealth system. And in Exodus, they did even more. So if you look at the bottom middle of the screen, you'll notice on the watch there's a blue light. And that light tells you if you're seen or unseen. They made it super easy. So it's the kind of thing where if you're not seen, like the stealth mechanics are pretty loose. And it's very usable. And you can sneak around and you can get actually... Like if you're crouched down in a bush and there's like a herd of these things called Nosalises, which are like these mutants, they'll just walk right by you if it's dark and you're not in the light. They'll be feet from you and walk by you. But if you're in light, those things right there. But if you're in light and you try to do something like that, they'll just like come up next to you and you kind of see them sniff and they just look right at you and then we'll start tearing you apart. So it's the stealth game mechanic is a lot of fun if you want to participate in it, but you don't have to. I think most people do just because of it's a lot more developed in this one. Developed, i.e. easier.
Sure.
So people tend to take advantage of it a little bit more.
That makes sense.
Is there a you might have already mentioned this and I could have missed it, but
that's fine. You tune out when I talk. I know.
Is there is there a day night cycle, like, or is it or is it set?
There is a full day night cycle. Using the day night cycle does not affect the story. There are beds all over the place that are marked on your map. And the day-night cycle is not only developed, but it actually changes the way the world works. So there are fewer monsters, but much more alert humans during the day. But at night, there tends to be more monsters. They come out more in force. That electric blue ball you saw just a second ago, that's an anomaly. Anomalies come out a lot more at night as well. And obviously, it's a lot harder to see. So stealth is up, humans down, monsters up, and anomalies up at night. And then that's kind of like reversed during the day. But you will not be sneaking in a human camp during the day. Like if they will see you from far off, they will peg you, they will start sniping you. The second a person sees you, he alerts the camp, the alarm goes off. Like, yeah, it gets real messy trying to go after humans in the daytime.
That was actually my next question. Like, there are some things that you want to wait for the night cycle to come around or the day cycle to come around in order to complete them more easily.
Yes. And what's even cooler is, first of all, there's beds everywhere. And if you find a bed, you can sleep until morning or evening. So it lets you kind of choose a time zone. And also the game will straight up tell you multiple times, like before, like, hey, we need something from that bandit camp over there. Just as a quick reminder, if you try to go there during the day, they'll blast you. But if you wait until night, you'll have a much better chance to sneak by. Like they kind of give you little warnings throughout the whole time. A lot of times they can give you a bed. They'll be like, hey, if you want to wait until night, you can just use this bed right here. So that stuff really helps.
I was a little hesitant to jump in the game because of just everyone telling me that it's so buggy. There's bugs left and right, blah, 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 blah. I talked to you about it. You said it's not really that impactful unless you're playing on the hardest difficulty. Is there a patch coming soon to fix some of that stuff, or?
I've heard there is, but I don't have a date on it. There's one distinct bug that I ran into. First of all, I would not go as far as to call this game buggy. It is not a buggy game. It is like a 90% well-made, beautiful, runs great game with a few bugs. It's not like Fallout 76 or something like that. It is by no means a buggy game.
Okay.
However, there is
I knew you were going to say it. I was hoping
not
you
a
were going to say that.
76. Okay.
It's not a 76.
We've clarified.
Okay, good.
There is one specific bug that is currently in the game, and what happens is if you die or the game saves while you are doing a melee animation. So if you sneak up behind an enemy or you're doing the knockout or kill thing and something happens to the state of your character, then the next save, when you come back, your character will be bugged. You can't use guns. You can't use items in the world. You can't use your flashlight, your map. That's what happened to me. And unfortunately, I had to restart the entire chapter. Thankfully, when I restarted the chapter, I actually did a few things differently and it ended up being a huge silver lining. So it was okay. But obviously, some people are kind of frustrated with that. Now, here's the other thing. The bug only really hurts you if you're on the hardest difficulty, because if you're not on the hardest difficulty, you can quick save and quick load, which is a new thing. So if you have a quick save and then you melee an enemy and your autosave gets bugged, you can just reload your quick save and you're good to go. In fact, that's what most people have been doing. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people didn't even hear about this bug for a while. But on Ranger Hardcore, you only have an autosave. And if that autosave gets bugged, you are reloading a chapter, or like I tried for over an hour. I tried everything to break my character out of that. In fact, shout out to the 4A devs. I sent them my save file. They repaired it and sent it back to me, and it was still bugged. So I sent them my save file. They fixed it as best they could, and I got it back, and I had my gun, and I could open my map, and I could use items in the game world. But whenever I brought up my little flashlight charger, I would just sit there spinning my wheels. My flashlight would never charge. I was like, I'm gonna have to restart this.
Did you contact them back and ask them, like, what is the fucking point of being a top tier streamer if you can't get your shit fixed like immediately? Don't you know who I am? I'm motherfucking Carnage. You fix my shit and you fix it now.
They were super, super helpful. Like, I can't even tell you. One of the PR reps, the night the game released, one of the PR reps said, hey, me and the team are going out for celebratory drinks. Here's my international cell phone. Give me a call if you need anything. And I was just like, damn, y'all are serious about this. Okay. But not only did they try to fix the save file, they were going to make a new save file because a bunch of them had been watching my stream. So they were going to actually recreate my game in a save state and send it to me. And I was like, it's okay. Don't do that. Thank you. But I'll just replay the chapters. Like, it's totally fine. But no, seriously, like 4A, it was I haven't seen that level of like, please let us help you in a while. It was very impressive. So a big shout out to them for that. But yeah, that was the only major bug. There were a couple other little instances that were weird. Like, for instance, I ran into another situation where I had to restart or go back to another save. And that was when, like, knocking out a certain NPC, I might have panicked and knocked out an NPC that was trying to talk to me and inadvertently triggered an entire alarm in a camp. Okay. And I wanted to get through that camp without killing anyone. But unfortunately, the only way through this camp, there's this one little bottleneck where there are these two guards at the top of a ladder. And after trying for 45 minutes to get by them while they were alerted on a no kill, I finally gave up. And I was just like, this is dumb. Like basically there's a part of the game where if you alert the camp, you can't get through it without killing someone. Which is kind of dumb because they tell you like 3 times, please don't kill anyone in this area. Huh. So that was a little bit frustrating. But really between those 2 instances, there was almost nothing else. I had a stuttering issue at the beginning that turned out to be completely on my side. That was not the game. It was an issue on my computer that I fixed up. And the game ran beautifully. I had every single thing turned up. RTX was on. Ray tracing was on ultra. The only thing I had turned off was Hairworks, and I got pretty much 60 frames the entire time in 1080. And yeah, outside of those 2 bugs, there's like not normal bugs. There's a few. Every so often, an enemy will clip through a wall, and
it looks
sometimes
like
an
open
enemy
world
will
stuff.
to a floor.
Just like normal open world bugs. At least the bugs that I was seeing Dan tweet out, where he would walk up to a person, talk to them, and then they would just shoot up into the sky.
Yeah, I saw that. I never had that happen. When Dan was like, "Hey, do you have any postcards?" and the thing was. I never got that bug, but that was a good one.
Yeah, that's
on
a good one. Dan's Gaming Twitter. It's his laugh makes the clip if you want to watch it.
Also, in Metro games are kind of notorious for having multiple things going on at once, especially if you walk through an area and turn around. Rough. Like all the people you pass will start talking to you at once. That did happen a few times in this one, and every so often that would cause a little bit of weirdness. But it by no means was a deal breaker.
Any reason why you had Hairworks turned off? Was it just too much of a hog, or did it cause issues?
For some reason, my Hairworks was changing people's hair color.
Oh, I don't know why Zeke's laughing.
I just watched the clip. Someone posted the clip, the Dan clip. He just is standing there talking, and they just go, beep.
Yeah,
like out of the,
like, he got raptured. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Got raptured.
She got lucky. She was one of the lucky ones.
Yep. She's one of the good ones. That's right. Yeah. But no, the Hairworks for some reason was causing people's hair to look like this weird, like dark brown color, and then I turn it off, and it all go back to normal. So it may have just been something weird on my side, but it didn't seem to affect performance when it was on. I just turned it off because it was looking weird.
Huh. Digital Foundry.
Oh, and for those asking in chat, no, DLSS was off because. By the way, little known fact here: DLSS is designed to make it run better if it's not running well, only at higher resolutions, and it does it by this weird kind of resolution scaling thing. So if you don't need it, you don't want it. It's not good to use if you don't need it. So a lot, like people kept asking me during the run, like, why does he have DLSS on? Because I don't need it. Like it's not something you need to turn on. If it's, if things are running great, don't touch it.
Yeah. DLS is the one that like renders it at 4K or 8K, then puts it down to your resolution, right? I think
it's the opposite. I think it renders it smaller and then blows it up, and that's why it's a little bit blurry.
Oh.
I could be wrong though. All I know is if you put DLSS on, it makes it a little blurrier. That's what I kept getting told. But I only play at 1080. So I've heard it's much more noticeable on 4Ks.
Oh, I'm thinking of DSR. You were correct. Yeah. DLSS is the opposite. DSR is
it's like the faux 4K kind of thing.
Yeah.
How much of a difference does RTX? How much of a difference does it make? Like, is it like just amazing, or is it?
From the videos I watched, I didn't play it. I'll let Co obviously will have a better answer than I will. But the videos showed like some crazy fucking shit happening when you could sit in a building, and the way that the sun would rotate in real time would cause shadows to react differently in the room because the shadows would peer through the cracks, and it would move in real time, which it was kind of mind blowing to see that shit.
RTX, especially if you can get your ray tracing on ultra, is noticeable. And it's awesome. However, you are talking about the difference between like 96% and 98%. Like if you're looking for it and you toggle it, you'll notice it. And it looks really good. But if you're just running through areas a lot of times, like the graphics are already really great in this game. So it's the kind of thing where if you're not really looking for it, and if you don't know what to look for, then it's not a huge deal. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the things. Like lighting effects and graphic effects in games that look this good are to the point where when they look a lot better, sometimes it's hard to notice unless you really kind of, again, know what you're, like JP said. Like, he knew exactly what to look for, so he saw it. It was like, whoa, that was cool.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know that's what RTX was doing, you might just be like, oh, that's pretty.
That's a good point.
And that's kind of what RTX I feel like is like in this game. Is it required? Absolutely not. Is it a little bit of extra icing on an already iced cake? Yes, that's what it is. It's a little bit of extra icing.
Yeah.
It's by no means like a big feature.
I would watch that video if you're curious at all, Z, because they like Ko said, they will show you a thing and it's like, this is what it looks like off. And then when you turn it on, all of this shit happens in this particular area and it's great. But with Ko saying like you're running by it, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like you're not going to notice it because you don't know what to look out for because you're worried about the guy shooting you behind you, not because you want to look at the pretty graphics.
Right. Well, it's one of those things. I'm sure that if it's doing its job well, it's tough to notice unless you take the time to notice it. It's kind of like having a really good musical score for like a movie or whatever. It's like you will notice it if it's like super, super good, but it also has to add to the experience of the entire movie itself. Yeah, exactly. And you kind of don't notice it because it blends so perfectly with the finished product.
The best thing I could recommend is actually what JP just said. If you're really interested in knowing what RTX means to the game, there's a great video that they made. I think it's like 6 minutes long. And what they do is they go through the locations in the game where RTX is the most apparent, and they literally just pan around going off, on, off, on. And you can see exactly what RTX is doing. I do want to say, though, that this is one of the best looking games I've ever played. Like, this game is gorgeous. And up until today, like during today's stream, I would frequently just stop in place and look around and be like, this is beautiful. It is by far one of the best looking games I've ever played. And not only that, it's even better because 4A is also the company 4A, the devs are phenomenal world designers. So like every world, like especially when you start getting underground into some of these locations, they look lived in, they look dilapidated. The graphics just add to the realism. And then you toss in like amazing weather effects and dust storms and huge rain, windstorms and fog. And yeah, it's a beautiful game.
How are the animations in the game? I watched a couple people play and they said that it was not necessarily bad, but definitely like one of the parts of the game where it was lacking in terms of like facial animations and conversations with other people. Like the dialogue is just a little stilted sometimes.
The dialogue was fine. I loved the characters. The characters were great. This is not really a spoiler, but I'm going to go ahead and say it just in case. A lot can happen to your team in this game. Depending on your decisions, there are many different outcomes for some members of your team. So, there's a lot of growth that happens throughout the game that can make those situations be very impactful. But the dialogue was great. I did really like it. Facial animations are similar to Last Light, where I would say they're by no means the best animations, but they definitely get the job done.
Okay.
So but there were a few times when they could have been better, but yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is a great example. Like it just goes through all the scenes and kind of shows you exactly what the differences are. But yeah,
the game has Russian voice acting as well. Would you recommend turning that on and using the English subtitles or no?
For your own playthrough, I would say I've heard that Russian is great. I've heard that it's kind of similar to like anime dubs. I've heard there's a lot more like emotion.
I mean, I just want to practice for the future. So, I should get my Russian.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But as a streamer, it's really tough because there's a lot of people that listen to streams. So as a streamer, I kind of always have to play in English for the people. Like I have a lot of people that listen from work and things like that. So if I play games in foreign languages, it can kind of ruin the experience for them. So.
That makes sense.
People don't listen to me at work because someone will walk into their office and be like, did I just hear cunt fart come out of your computer? Like, did someone just say that? What are you watching?
Yeah. I could see why. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to show this full video because it's not my video to show, but it's on Digital Foundry, I think unless this is by NVIDIA. No, this is the Digital Foundry video. So just Google Digital Foundry. They have like 5 or 6 videos of Metro kind of talking about everything within it, and all the pretty graphics and stuff like that. How long did it take you to complete Ko from start to finish? I guess including the 4 or 5 hours that you had to replay.
I think all in all, it was about 35 hours. I want to say.
Okay.
I'd have to actually, let's see, what's the best way to do that?
Open up your Steam and oh no, fuck, it uses that fucking Epic shit.
Open up your Epic and then regret everything.
Yeah.
Because Epic doesn't track.
Does it track
shit.
that?
No,
you can
dude,
go to
Epic doesn't track-
Twinge.
I can't even look in my Epic and see what version I'm running. I looked at that yesterday. Like, it doesn't even tell you what version you're on in the Epic launch. It is the worst launcher by far. We had this conversation many times during
Origin might be worse.
No,
I actually forgot about this. Like I remember, I remembered our conversation after I was like, let me just look it up on Steam, and then I saw like this note, this salty ass fucking note on Steam that says sales of Metro Exodus has been discontinued on the Steam store due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. And then the last paragraph says, we think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date.
Yep.
We were only recently informed of the decision, given limited time to let everyone know. Just salty, just like,
well, they should be.
You guys.
This is like the first time a company has done that. By the way, I take that back. It does look like if you click on the gear in the Epic thing, it says the version at the bottom, so it isn't there. But it doesn't say the playtime that I can see.
Your Twinge shows that you played the game or streamed the game for 24 hours, 20 minutes.
24 hours, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
That's not right.
I mean, Twinge doesn't lie because it takes it straight from Twitch.
That's true, but
So-
I did more than 3 all-day streams, and I stream more than 8 hours each day.
I don't know. Unless it didn't track this morning's, maybe. I don't know what the refresh time on this is, but
I did like 4 days playing it all day. And then
if you stick your head up the butcher's ass, then wait.
True.
No.
Was it 4 days or 3 days?
Could have been. I don't know. I did not watch any of it from the like 5
Weird.
minutes.
Okay,
I jumped
that's
in.
strange. I don't know. Maybe it's behind or something. I don't know. Oh wait, yeah. I'll look at my YouTube guys uploading it all to YouTube right now. We'll talk next week. I'll just look at my YouTube playlist. That's strange though. I thought it was 4 8-hour days, and then today I played for about 3 hours.
Twinge might be delayed. I haven't used that site in months, so maybe that's why. I'll pull up Solely Gnome to see if it's also the same.
All I know is I enjoyed every minute I played it, so it was 100% worth the value. That's for damn sure. Like it was. So good.
Do you know how about how much percentage does it tell you? Like how much percentage you completed?
It doesn't. Now here's the good thing. Like this game really caters to both the 100% player and also the person that doesn't want to do any of that stuff. The only thing you really get from doing side content most of the time is like weapon upgrades and attachments. And a lot of times later in the game, the main kind of quest line will give you those attachments. So many times, like there are a few attachments and especially upgrades that you do need to go out and find. Like there's some armor upgrades and some compass upgrades that you'll never see. But like
actually, Co, you get experience of the game. By doing side content, you don't just get stuff.
My point is, Zeke. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, let's just ignore him.
My point is, it's still good. Like it's okay if you just go down the main story on lighter difficulties at least. You'll get most of it done. There's no like percent completion. There's no like tracking outside of collectibles. There are collectibles and stuff. There's diaries and postcards.
Okay.
So those are all over the place. But I don't think the diaries or postcards influence the game itself. I think they just help kind of like expose some of the game world and lore.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not like there is a system where if you take out your binoculars and look around, you can zoom in on locations and it will mark it on your map with a question mark, like an interesting location. So you can uncover all the points of interest on a map and then visit all the points of interest. But that's as much of a kind of like a checklist as you're.
Do you have to climb to the top of a tower to do that?
No, anytime you want, you can just pull out your binoculars and go for it.
Iteration, nice. I like it. Solely Gnome saying he played for 41 hours, so that's a little bit more on par.
There we go. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I guess Twinge was actually wrong. So last
Going
time
by
I
the
used
video
that
on-
fucking
It was
site.
42 hours exact. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry, what were we saying?
Nothing. No, it's fine. Fuck Twinge.
It's great. I love it. Go buy it. It's fantastic.
So 40 hours for like a casual normal playthrough. How many hours added for 100%? What do you think? Like,
Oh no, 40 hours for 100%.
oh,
I did
okay.
100%.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you
So
did
a
100%.
casual normal playthrough is probably between 20 and 25.
That's what I saw
Okay,
most people
okay.
beat it in. Yeah, bike and them.
I took my time. Like anytime people were talking, I would stop and listen. Every location got explored pretty thoroughly. We got every collectible. I definitely, and many times I would just walk around and just live in the world. Like I was just having fun. I just revisit locations because I wanted to, because I remember they looked pretty. Another really fun thing about this game is there's a lot of stuff, very kind of Fallout-y. There's lots of random things that just happen all over the map.
Oh, okay.
So like you can just be like, it won't be near a location. Like at one point, damn it, I can't talk about it because it's spoilery, but there is at one point when I was walking between two locations and there were these three guys out in the middle of nowhere. And they were like, first they were doing all this talking and you could walk up and they would be like, oh, it's a guy. Like they pull out their guns. And then if you lower yours, they're like, oh, you're not going to kill us. Okay, let's talk. And then you'll talk for a little bit about what they're doing. They're like, yeah, we're setting up here and waiting for night. And then you can go do something else and come back at night and they're like surrounding this thing and praying to it. And then this big event happens that's like all flashy and big. And like, and that was just in the middle of nowhere. I didn't get anything for completing it and I didn't need to do it, but it was just like there to do. And there's more than a few of those kind of little like just exposition style, like this is just a fun thing to do or look at, spread out around the maps.
And you would say would you say play the first games before this?
100%.
Okay.
This game is not only the same character as 2033 and Last Light, but there are many of the same characters, and there are even things referenced in the very, very end of the game that you would not understand if you have not played the last two games. They flow into each other. They work well together. The reveals are extremely more impactful if you've come from the other two games. It's basically one giant game. And I honestly feel that people should treat it like that.
Do they do
Now,
any?
that being said, if you have to only play Exodus, they do a pretty good job of whenever older stuff is mentioned to kind of catch you up a little bit.
That's
like
what I was
there
gonna
is
ask.
some of that there, but it's not like Kingdom Hearts 3, for instance. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, they were beating you over the head like, oh, it's this guy. He did that thing at this part. Like it is by no means like that.
Okay.
Also, what's really cool for real lore nerds, I haven't gotten to this yet. I need to go back. I'll probably do it during the DLCs or something. On the train, there is a journal. And in that journal, RTM writes about everything. Like there's probably 50 plus pages of stuff in that journal. Enemies, your first time you encountered them, what you thought when you did, all the characters, the stuff you've done with the characters, locations, what you've done there, what you thought about it. Like huge amounts of writing are in this journal on the train. So for people that like that stuff, there's a lot of it. And it constantly updates throughout the whole game.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking I'd play the other games, but now that you said that they do a decent job of catching you up, because I played the other games, it was just so long ago. I don't remember the intricacies of the story, but I think like the general chunks I would understand. Hopefully, we'll see what happens when I play it, because I plan on playing it this next week, but we will see.
Now, am I remembering correctly? You could play one or two of the first Metro's local or online co-op. Is that right or not?
Mm-mm.
No, okay.
Nope.
I'm remembering a different game then.
These are all single player adventures.
Yeah.
Okay.
To speak to the, I don't want to say horror, but the jump scare-ness of the other two games, is that also present in this one? Is there a decent amount?
Yes.
Okay.
There are the game is much more about the immersive atmospheric elements. Most of this game is more depressing, stressful, thrilling kind of stuff.
Polish.
But there are definitely classic Metro jump scares.
Okay.
Relatively liberally spread throughout the game. Yes. I'm thinking like 7 to 10 at least. Where you'll just be doing something out of nowhere. It's like blah.
So not scripted, but
nowhere.
Are they scripted, or is it just random mobs that will sneak
Some of
up
them
on
are.
you?
Some of them are. In fact,
Okay.
oh, dude. Okay, the game
We
got
don't
me.
need to talk about them. That's the best parts, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say this. I will say this. The game got me good at one point, because what happened was there's this area that you get to, and you're doing the main quest, and you go through this little area, and it's a little spoiler, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You go through this little area, and this thing grabs you and like starts getting right up in your face, and blah 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 blah. You know, it's terrible. And the first time it happened, it scared the shit out of me because that's like introducing the enemy. So I was like, "What is going on?" So when I came through my second time, because this was the part when I lost my save, I walk up on the stream and I look at the door and I'm like, "Okay, that's where the thing happens." So I'm gonna go over here, and I go through the door. And boom! It happened on that door. So apparently, it's like any of the doors you go through in that area, this particular event happens. And I had like seen it, got my guard up, and then let it down. It's totally cool. And then I go into this door, boom, there it was. And that was very rude. So it makes me wonder, I'm sure many of the scripted events are like that, where even if you don't go the same way, even if you do it a little differently, like you're still going to get hit by it.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yep. You've sold me on a game I was already sold on. So that's good.
Awesome.
Best in the series?
Yes, in my opinion.
Okay.
Best in the series. And mainly it's the best in the series a little selfishly because this is the first time that I felt like this game bridges Metro and Stalker. Like there are many times I was playing this game where I felt like I was playing one of my favorite franchises, which is called Stalker, where you just have this giant map in front of you. You've got one main story quest in the top right, but you can just go and do whatever you want. And there's tons of interesting places to explore. And some of them have amazingly good and powerful loot, like brand new scopes or new auto loaders or a new barrel for your shotgun. And it's like every one of these upgrades is palpable in a lot of cases. So it's pretty great.
Cool.
The other two Metros are awesome, but they're very different.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if because I did enjoy the other Metros, but this one seems vastly different just because of the whole open world stuff to that. And I also, I guess I can ask you this, and it'll be the last thing at least that I have to ask. I hated the idea of I don't want to use this ammo because it's currency, and it was like elixirs. Oh, thank God. Okay.
Gone.
It was like elixirs in RPG where it's like you'd pick up an elixir 5 minutes in. It's like, well, it's the last boss. I guess I better use this shit. Like,
The beautiful part about this game is basically you're just using military grade ammunition the whole time. Like at the very beginning of the game, you discover like a dump and they just like load the train with it. And then anytime you craft ammo in the train, you're essentially making like the best ammunition. Gone is a currency system replaced with the new looting system, which you loot gear and you loot chem. And then gear and chem is basically what you use to like build med kits, filters, ammo. You can and then anytime you find a part for a weapon, that doesn't cost anything. You can just put it on and remove it however you want. And it's very easy, it's very intuitive, and it makes switching stuff. Like I was switching stuff in combat. Like I'd start fighting an enemy and be like, oh, this isn't working. Duck behind some cover while they're firing at me, pull out all my gear, replace parts on my gun, and then turn around and like finish the area. It's really cool and very easy.
Cool.
I heard you might have shed a manly tear. Is that correct?
Maybe.
Okay.
For some reason towards the end of the game, I kept getting these camera like my camera kept turning off. I don't know why. It was very strange.
I thought you cried when he lost the 8 hours. I thought that was what he
Dude.
was.
Okay, for the ending, the ending was really good. That's all I'm going to say. The ending was really good. It was really good. But in terms of the time that I lost, as many people who have been watching me for over 4 years said, they have never seen me more depressed.
Yeah, I got that a lot.
Like when I logged off the stream, because here's what happened. My game got bugged. I tried for an hour to fix it. The devs are talking to me the whole time, and finally they're like, "There's nothing we can do about this." And like that's when I realized like I can't play Metro anymore, because when I logged off, I didn't realize I could restart the chapter. So I thought my playthrough was done. So I'm sitting there like full screen, like, well, I guess that's the end of Metro Exodus on day 2. I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow or the next few days. I'm just gonna turn my stream off now. Talk to you later. Bye. And then I just like turned the stream off. Like I was almost like in a state of shock because I've been looking forward to this for so long, and then just to have it like slam closed in your face.
Yeah.
But then when I took like an hour off, and I was going to come back and play Apex or something. And I really got a huge shout out to my chat, because they were like, dude, just restart the chapter. Like, we don't care. We'll watch it all again. And I was like, but you guys aren't going to want to watch 5 hours of content. Like, I can't just restream that. Like, I can't do it. and they were like, dude, you want to play Metro, just do the 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And dude, it's
fine.
It's your channel. They won't even notice the difference. It's
Like there were so many factors that were really bumming me out. But yeah, I'm super glad we replayed it. It was a great decision. It ended up there's a very good chance, without spoiling, that the restart of my game saved a character. There's a very good chance
that's
that
cool.
one of the characters in my party, which I ended up saving all of them, may have died. And there are, for the record, many times throughout this game where you can lose characters.
So is
Like,
that
it is
without getting too like into why you may or may not lose it? Is that like a quick time event? Is that like a choice, like choose A or B? Like or is it you lose a fight?
It's not. The game does a good job of not making it like always do this or this. It never comes up on the screen and it's like press Q to do this or E to do this. Like it's generally a lot more nuanced. So like for instance, one woman is like, or I need to be careful about saying this without spoiling it.
Sure.
To give an example, let's say there was a camp and somebody says, hey, it's very important that we do it this way. And then you don't do it that way. Well, there may be an unintended consequence that you didn't think about because of that.
Okay.
And then during a cutscene, you may witness that unintended consequence of how you decided to do that. So it's that kind of thing. It's basically just kind of, you want to listen to your people. You want to listen to the game. And another big hint, by the way, is in the top left. Every so often, you will see an icon where your objectives update. And to get to your objectives, you bring up your map and then left click, and he will turn the map around and you'll see your objectives there. Every so often in those objectives will be like at the last line, it would be a much better idea if I didn't kill anyone in this area.
Oh, okay.
So with those little things, those are kind of like, if you ever see objective stuff, that's your sign. That's your like, oh, this might be important. Yeah. And thankfully, the game doesn't make it super painful to do those the way they want you to.
Okay.
Outside of that one area I was talking about earlier with the bugged guy that I panic punched and sending the alarm in the whole area. I did later learn, by the way, that in that area, I probably could have killed the guys that were in my way because it's as I later learned, the game doesn't do just like you kill everyone or you don't kill everyone. It's basically like you kill everyone or you do your best not to kill everyone. Like they give you a few gimmies. So even if you do end up killing like one or two guys, like they'll still say like, oh man, you were super stealthy and did really well there. Like, you know, it's not like a game breaker if you kill one or two guys. I thought it was. Turned out that it wasn't that way. So.
Okay.
Is there just like well
oh.
have you heard the good news? I have pamphlets for you. Please let me talk to you for a quick second.
Yeah. Just a nice thing.
He's not even dead yet.
So there's different endings you can get. I'm seeing in chat because
yes.
Dan S Gaming is in chat, and
It's one of those assholes that wears the partner badge in the chat just so people will notice him. Fucking some small streamer. I don't know.
Yeah. Said
I do
he
that
got
too.
the good ending.
Yep.
So is there multiple endings or is there just good or bad?
There's two containers of endings, and then there's little changes in each of them. There's a good ending and there is a bad ending, and then the exact ending is dependent on who you save through the game. So there's good ending with everyone saved, there's good ending with these people saved, and then there's bad ending.
Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible on a casual playthrough without having anything spoiled that you could get the good ending?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering if it's one of those like you have to go back.
You can get the good ending going through the game linearly. You don't even need to like do 100%. Like you can like the good ending as long as you, like I was saying earlier, as long as you kind of listen to the game and pay attention to what it wants you to do and when, and especially what your team is saying, then you're fine. But it is important to mention, a lot of times your team will say things just in plain English to you that won't go on your objectives that will dramatically increase your chances of getting good ending stuff. Like listen to your team. This game's kind of big about that.
Cool.
Okay.
Final two questions for me. I thought of more while we were talking. Any idea on the console versions? If they're a PC is obviously probably the best place to play this, but any ideas on the console versions?
I've heard there's some roughness on the console versions. Obviously, I can't talk too much about that as I didn't play on console, but I did hear there is some performance stuff. There's some graphic stuff, and I've heard there were a few bug issues on consoles that I wasn't hit with at all. So I don't know if those are unique to consoles, but
Okay.
Yeah, PC. 4A is kind of a PC company, so I definitely would. Yeah, PC is the way to go with this one if you can.
And then final one, more of a streamer-centered question, not necessarily something that the general chat's going to care about. How is streaming this game with the whole Steam Epic launcher debacle? Is it a shit show in chat or
Non-existent?
What do you mean? Oh, it just didn't. No one even.
I mean, it just
talked
never
about
came
it?
up.
Huh.
I like it. I saw a few people throughout the playthrough. I thought it was going to be a big deal. We
Yeah,
made a
that's why I was
command about it
asking.
and everything. Like I was prepared to go into sub mode. I thought it was going to be an onslaught. But honestly, I think it's really calmed down. I think it's really calmed down for a couple reasons. One, because the game's amazing. So a lot of people are just like, I don't care what I have to play it on. I already have 6 launchers. I'll just get another one and play this great game,
Right.
which is good. And another reason is I think the whole kind of fiasco has calmed down a little bit, which is good. Now, granted, there's still a lot of people that have not bought the game, and there's still
Right.
a lot of people that are waiting a year to play it. More power to them. I would never tell them to do otherwise. If that's your decision, hey, you vote with your money and make your voice be heard.
Yeah.
But that being said, it definitely was not nearly as big of an issue as we thought it was going to be. And especially like the last couple days, I don't think I noticed anything.
Okay. I was laughing because I tweeted like, "Yeah, we'll probably start this on Saturday," and then someone was like, "Well, boycotting your stream. Thanks for supporting Epic." And I was like, "Oh well."
And I had a few people say that, but whatever. Again, the funny part is you would think that if you really cared about that, then you'd want to watch someone stream it. And that way you wouldn't have to pay a penny. And more importantly, all the people watching wouldn't have to pay a penny.
Right.
So you get even more of what you want, which is them getting less money.
Yeah.
So the more streaming, the better, right?
There's no logical thought in these people, Come on now. What do you
Okay.
You got to stick it to the man by just saying you're boycotting everything. That's how you let them know.
That works. But no, and it was fine. It was totally fine. Like it wasn't a big deal.
Cool.
It wasn't a big deal.
Zeke, are you going to play it? You seem interested enough that I feel like you are.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Metro's been one of those games that has been on a lot of people's like favorite series lists for a long time, and I've never. I think I might have played a little bit of Last Light. I'm not sure. Whichever one's the first one. I don't know. 20 whatever or Last Light. 2033. I played one of them for a handful of hours, and I had trouble getting into it because it was so goddamn dreary. Like, I don't mind if it's dreary some of the time, but like for the entire fucking time, it seemed it was just like everything is terrible.
A downward
World
spiral.
Sucks. Yeah, it's just like it wasn't exciting. Like, I don't mind like ups and downs, peaks and valleys. In fact, I cherish them. I love them. But when it's just like, no.
See,
like it's this fucking
funny-
Eeyore like the whole way through.
And see, I'm an incredibly depressed person normally, so I thrive in that environment. I'm like, oh, tell me how your family died. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, you lost all of your food this year. Oh, you're gonna
Jesus.
starve in a week, and you're super radiated and can't afford your drugs. Oh, tell me more.
You're into it.
No, it doesn't get better. For the record, it's super super dark. It is a dying world, to put it bluntly, and I think that's a big part of Metro. Is it's like the concept of the Metro is it's an unsustainable world. They're not in an ecosystem that is going to be around forever. Like, they're doing their best, they're making stuff work, but the whole premise is just like flawed from the beginning. And what's really interesting though, Zeke, is if anything, Exodus is the antithesis of what you're talking about. Like the first 2 Metro games, and again, I don't want to spoil it too much, but if you think about it, the first 2 Metro games are all in the Metro, and then in Exodus, you're on a train flying around the top side. So in terms of like what's
Hence
going
Exodus.
on in the world, like this is the most positive we've seen Metro ever. there's actually things that can go right here, which is nice.
That's good.
So yeah, in terms of if you can make it through 2033 and Last Light, like Exodus is a lot more like, hey, maybe we have a chance.
Well, and that's what I was watching, or that's what I was experiencing as I was looking at your gameplay and stuff. Was in the first one that I played a little, just like straight up dark browns and gray like color palette. It was like but then you look at Exodus and there's like a nice sunrise and it looks like the fucking scenery change, because that does affect the mood of the player when you can step out of the darkness and the browns and the grays and shit and into like a nice sunny fucking day.
It's true.
There are 4 distinct seasons in Exodus. There is permafrost thaw, so like right at the beginning of spring, but there's still snow on the ground. There is desert, like straight desert. There is forest. You are basically in a temperate forest. And then there is heavy, heavy cold, like deep freeze. And there's actually a few more in between there. But it really covers the gambit. And what's even more fun is, again, you never go to those locations normally in Metro. So it's all like brand new for the franchise and everything. And they do it really well. Like you go to the desert or the sand area. I think it's going to be a long, and you know my memory. I think it's going to be a long time till I forget the first sandstorm that I saw. It is like,
okay.
It is crazy when you're like, even the people you're with are like, dude, look at the horizon. The clouds are getting black. And you look over to the left and like the entire horizon is getting dark. And then it washes over you. And like, there's this whole process where you start seeing things in the world rolling by, tumbleweeds start going horizontal and stuff. Like, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. The rain in the area before it is fantastic. Straight like lightning and wind, sheet rain and stuff. Oh yeah, you got to wipe your mask all the time.
That was always
blood splatter. If you kill things too close to you, like blood will splatter all over your mask now.
They got so much out of just that. There's so many things that I remember from last night where it's just like, oh man, that looks fucking great, man. Did you?
Oh, and now,
oh my god,
and then you can break your gas mask, and you hit G to clean it. And unfortunately, I didn't get the memo, and I died. But apparently, you can hit G, and it'll take out a little piece of tape and just be like,
oh god, that's even better. That's even better. It's good.
Oh yes, So in the desert area, there's these tar pools that have these geysers, and when the geysers go off, then they send up these huge jets of flame. And what's funny is the world is very organic in how it operates. So there's tumbleweeds and there's all this stuff happening. So I might have been killed by a flaming tumbleweed that hit me in the head.
Just run it. Okay. I like it. I like it. That's good stuff.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm into it.
Well, this one definitely is making me want to play the entire series. And I thought of the analogy I was trying to think of. It's like playing the first couple of games is like playing Fallout 3 or one of those in the series, but only in the vault. Like you never get to go outside.
Yes. Yeah, it's good.
And this one, you actually like. It looks like you can go outside. You know, it's
Yeah.
nice. And like,
Dude, that's a really good way to say it.
Of Fallout 3. Like, it was so like I just could not wait to get out of the vault because it was so claustrophobic and so dreary and so lonely. It's like that. Like, and you get out in the world, like, oh, there's more things out here. It's great.
And crazy enough, with the way that the gameplay is structured throughout the games, that's basically exactly how it is. It is essentially a corridor shooter from 2033 to the end of Last Light. And then right when the vault door opens, it becomes semi-open world. So like, yeah, it's that's a really good analogy.
It's good.
Excellent.
That's good. All right, let's move on to Anthem.
I'm actually looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this, man. You put a lot. How much time did you put into this?
I beat it. We put 15 hours on the first day, 12 on the second, and we finished it.
What did you play?
In terms of class, I'm playing like
Colossus?
the Colossus. Yeah. I've thought a lot about what specifically I hate about this game, but I'm going to start with what I like. And funny enough, I mean, it's a BioWare game. The world that they created, like the all of the stuff that exists in this world, the world building aspect, it's fucking awesome. Like I would love to play in this world if the gameplay and the story was actually interesting. Because it's just what I could show you 25 seconds in a 25-hour VOD, and it would look like the exact same fucking thing I'm doing at any point in the VOD. I can click anywhere. because the game doesn't change. Like it starts off very strong. They have like a full-on cutscene that tells you a little bit about the world. It sets up kind of like why you are who you are and how you got to be where you're at. And then it kind of just starts being the same thing for the next however long it takes to beat. I think the only reason that I stuck around to the very end was because I wanted to see how bad the ending was, and man, did they deliver. The most interesting boss fight is the final fight, but they don't even let you kill the boss. Something happens story-wise, and another NPC kills the boss, and takes the entire like cool moment of you actually doing something in this game. And he's like, "Oh, nope, I got it," and then the credits fucking roll. Like the credits literally roll after that mission. And it's like, it's just bad. It's just fucking bad. The gameplay was fun. After 10 hours or so, I started to realize that like I feel like the devs of this game saw, and I've said this a lot. I feel like the devs of this game saw Destiny 1 when it came out. And then they got locked inside of a dev house by EA and never saw light until the game launched for VIPs or whatever a month ago, and realized, oh fuck, there's a second Destiny, and this game called Division came out too. They actually made some changes to the type of game that we need to go back and like change everything. Because all the systems are straight out of Destiny 1, like stand on this spot until this bar fills and defend against it. And that's like one of 3 core missions, or kill all these guys and make sure you kill them all. And then we'll move on to the next spot and you can stand in there for another 3 minutes. Like it, or go grab this ball and put this ball into this thing. Oh, now you got to collect 5 more. Oh, you got to collect 12 of them now and put them into this thing so you can move forward. Like that. Those are the core things that you do in this game besides shooting things. And that's it. There's not much else in the story mission structure. So Zeke, what were you going to say?
Just out of curiosity, I was. You said like credits roll, and you just like kind of like totally gave like spoiled it. Like,
who cares? The story sucks.
That was my question. That was my question. It's so bad that you're just like, I'll fucking spoil it, and I don't give a fuck because it's that bad. Is that like what I'm getting?
It's the most generic spoiler of all time. Like you don't get to kill the final boss because someone else does it for you. But yeah, like it. The way that the story is told in this game, did you play at all the VIP demos crap, or did you? Okay, you know when you walked around in the main area and you just, okay, let's sit here. Oh, okay, let's go over.
Yeah.
No. So imagine doing that probably 200 times. That exact process of walking up to someone. Okay, cool. Oh, let me make this choice that has no actual purpose at all. Okay, I'll hold down 2 here. 200 fucking times, easy. And like the voice acting's fine. The best part of that is how good the actual like face animations look. Like it's the Frostbite engine. It looks really good. There's a little bit of desync every once in a while, but that's like when you finish a mission. After you load through the fucking 3-minute loading time, I'm not even fucking kidding. Sometimes it was 3 minutes of load time after you get it out of the mission.
Yeah, save us day 1 patch, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and the day 1 patch is going to fix a lot of like some of the issues I had, but a lot of it is just like core gameplay loop that it can't be patched in unless they're changing the game. But like you just walk up to people and you hear them talk, and then you get a little bit of like reputation. They don't give you quests. It's just like I guess you could call it side stuff, but some of the ways that you unlock the ability to craft higher tier guns, which don't look any different. They just have a bigger number next to them. They still shoot the same as the other type of gun that was 5 levels lower than that. They still give you the same ability. So there's no like cool power creep to actually do that. But some of the ways is by increasing your reputation, and you increase your reputation by going and talking to vendors. And it's like arbitrary numbers, like you got 10 rep with the so-and-so consortium for talking to some dimwit in the alley who wants to start a newspaper or who wants to clean the fountain. I could not get attached to any of it story wise. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't know if that's just a me problem or if it was because it was actually boring dribble coming out of these people's mouths about the world. But I don't. It was. This is the best part of the game right here. The flying. Flying from point A to point B is great.
Were you using mouse and keyboard?
Yes, they actually fixed it from the VIP demo. It controls a lot better. Yeah, yeah. I know that Max. I was playing with Gassy Mexican and Strippin, and eventually Gmart Faucius was playing with us a little bit. I think Max used a controller the entire time, and I think Strippin did as well. But yeah, like it fucking sucks, man. I wanted this game to be so good, and I was so into it after that first cutscene that they showed. It just never changed after like 30 minutes of playing. After that, nothing changed. I used the same fucking weapons that I did at hour 1 that I did at 25. They were just had a bigger number attached to it.
Did you do any of the legendary stuff? I heard like the legendary weapons can have random special effects.
So here's how they handle loot in this game. Loot rarity is determined by your level of loot. So I think it goes up to 300. I stopped it when we beat the game, and I think it was like 23 or 24. But you won't actually start getting blues until I think you hit 100 loot level, which is like level, I don't know, 5 or 6. And then I think purples start to drop at 200. I might be getting the numbers wrong. But I never saw a single fucking legendary because I wasn't high enough like loot level. So there's no chance for like, at least my understanding, in the 25 hours, we never had a legendary drop except for the pre-order one that we got.
But you did everything.
We did everything story-wise, yeah. So we beat the game, and I think I was level 24. And so then you go do the same fucking shit that you did in the story to push to level 30 to unlock the Grandmaster modes or whatever. And all those do, from my understanding, is just increase the damage and the health that mobs have that you fight. And there's only one new thing at the end when you beat the game in terms of a dungeon. And the boss at the end of that dungeon is one of the more annoying fights in the game, because the way that the boss works is you get him down to a certain HP and like these 3 propellers drop out from the corners and they just start spinning. And if you happen to be underneath one of those and you're playing on a hard enough difficulty, you'll die in like 3 seconds. So it just became this like really annoying fucking thing of like, oh shit, someone pushed him to 75%. Here come the fucking blades start spinning up, and oh, you got to go res 2 people because they just happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And sure, like we weren't coordinated enough to like stand outside of that. You could argue that, but that's the only new thing that we saw after we beat the story was a singular stronghold, one of 3 in the entire game. A stronghold basically being a dungeon. One of them was in the VIP demo. The other one is the final boss. You can play the final boss area over again. That's one of the strongholds.
Did you get to do any of the bounties or like the invasions or any of that stuff?
The bounties, yes. You have to do. So here's the other fun part about the story. And I think that they're changing this somewhat tomorrow or whenever that patch hits. I think the 22nd. There is a point in the story. There's actually 2 points in the story where you're doing like story missions and the actual character development and all that crap is happening. And it's like, hey, go check out these 4 tombs. And so you go to these 4 tombs and you're like, oh shit, okay, cool. We're going to, check out the armor of some badass javelin that once, existed. You get up to the door of the tomb and you press like whatever button it is to activate the tomb, F or E or whatever. And a checklist pops up on the right-hand side. And it's like, you have to do 20 combos. You have to open 20 chests. You have to like literally just shit. It's not even, it's the most boring, mundane crap. Like, hey, go and use your combo finisher like 40 times. Go and
sounds
kill.
Like old school achievement hunting.
Without a doubt. Yeah. It was, yeah. We got to those doors and we were so
what happens when you
unbelievably
complete
frustrated.
those shopping lists?
You go back to the door and you walk in, you open up a chest and get like a tiny bit of loot. And then once you do that 3 more times with different goals, you can progress the story. So it's a giant fucking roadblock to literally going, hey, go explore free play Free play is like where you can just fly around and do whatever you want. And like do these things. Now, some of those things were already completed by the time we got to the door for certain people. Others were not. The thing with the chest, so you have to loot a chest in the open world, and it only counts per player. So if you have 4 people, that's 80 chests individually that you have to open. Now, chests are throughout the world. You can find them just randomly, but you also get them from like completing world events. So that probably tacked on about 4 hours of just mindlessly running around the world, completing world events that were...
Oh, thank God. Okay, that was fixed.
Yeah, well, it got fixed by those requirements start tracking at a lower level now. So they basically just track them at like level 2 or 3, I think, in the patch notes. And so by the time you get to that, you're probably going to be done. Probably not with the chest stuff. But yeah, that type of crap was unbelievably frustrating. And they do it again later on in the story by like, all right, you've done those are the tombs right there. I think that's actually what we're doing on screen at this point in the VOD. But they do it again later in the story where it's like, okay, you've gotten to a certain point, you got to like craft this thing. So we need you to go to kill 3 titans. It's not 100% drop from these titans. At least I don't think it is. And they're kind of considered rare spawns in the world. So again, you have to go out into the free play world and just do like missions to hopefully get a titan to spawn, or go into a story mission that you've already completed where you know that a titan spawns and do that again with the same exact difficulty, same exact mobs, same exact fucking shit that you did already.
So quick question. You do a lot of mindless, repetitive shit in other games.
Yes.
Like
Fury.
WoW, Path of Exile, like all these other games. What makes this one worse than those?
Because the shit that you get for doing this is a gun with a higher number attached to it that has like 0 uniqueness to it. It's like, hey, here's a gun with 5 more damage.
And tell me this, JP, like for playing Path of Exile, one of the big carrots on a stick for me personally is like the end game bosses.
Right.
Like you spend the entire 100+ hour of your league kind of like preparing your character for these end game challenges. Was there anything like that for you in Anthem? Was there anything for you that like,
not in the story,
like said, I want to get super geared up so I can...
Not in the story. In the game, from what I could tell, and granted, I was pretty fucking done with the game when we finished it, so I didn't like seek it out. I think Strippin ended up leveling to 30, but my understanding is that we saw everything in the game. There might be like some super fucking rare bosses that you can spawn or
have they announced anything coming? Like raids or addition?
I don't want to speak to that because I don't know 100%. Chat will probably let us know. But yeah, that I think
Chat's been letting us know a lot of shit.
Yeah, I think ultimately you either absolutely love this game or you absolutely fucking hate this game. Like I have not seen a person that's in between.
Well, quick question then. Another quick question, I guess. What is the point of doing any of the grinding stuff if you can complete the game? You can complete the game without doing that stuff, without getting like the legendary weapons or whatever equipment.
Yeah, you don't have to do any of that.
So is there a point to doing that other than just to have it?
Not that I can tell. No, at least not this point in the game. Like, yeah, that was a question I had because I saw a bunch of streamers like, all right, we're gonna go do this Grandmaster thing and grind this all day, and I was just like, for fucking what? Like, the guns don't even change the look. They still operate, from my understanding, the exact same way. They have stats that are tied to them, but and those stats I think are randomized, so you can try to roll a better stat. But
I gotta say, like, hate on Destiny or Destiny 2 as much as you want. I always liked and do like, even still, like when the Destiny players will post like, hey, check out this awesome new weapon I got. And it's like a unique name with a unique effect and a unique look. And like, I don't even play Destiny 2.
Like,
I love
cool,
when Destiny players retweet that shit. Yeah. It's like, like I was kind of wondering if Anthem had that.
Not that I could tell. I had one pre-order gun that looked unique, and I don't think it did anything special.
There's no PvP?
Nope, not in this game. The PvP is called Apex Legends.
They have that's like a requirement.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the purpose. Like, a lot of the extension of gameplay in Destiny. In fact, I would venture to say, you know what? I'm not going to say like any generalizations. I'm just going to say an extension of Destiny, the grind to get legendary shit was partly to do PvP with the best weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Dude,
yeah, I could say that.
I played an old game called Defiance. That was the whole reason I did. Like, that's one of the reasons I love Defiance, because it was like this open world MMO, and then you could get all geared up and get all these cool different weapons, and then take them over to PvP and like just go crazy with the builds and stuff that you did. I love that about it. I'm actually looking for another Defiance. They haven't made a damn decent game like that since that came out 5 years ago, and nobody played it. So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, hey, JP, tell me, did you like your class? And if you had to do it again, would you pick another one?
So I don't know if it was player, I don't want to say skill, but player knowledge or what, but my class and the class, which is the Colossus, and the class that Gmart was playing, which is the Storm, seemed just ungodly strong. Yeah. The classes that Strippin was playing, which is the Interceptor Ranger? Or something like that. Yeah, seemed really bad. Yeah. And Max was also playing
between a Ranger and a Colossus, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna let my chat decide, but I'm trying to figure out if one of those is like. I kind of want to play a Ranger because I don't see a lot of people playing it.
It's good. Let me
remind me again how long it took you to get to to complete the game, or what's
about 25 hours.
About 25 hours.
Yep.
How much of that was grinding, or just mindless stuff?
25 hours. I mean,
come on, be real now.
5 or 6 hours, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the actual true. Well, maybe it wasn't 25 hours because I forgot I played Apex for 8. So it took 15. It took about 20 hours to get there. To speak to some other fun bugs that happened, by the way.
Full price game?
Yeah, $60 game. Well, here's the best part, Zeke. In order to play what I was playing, you either had to spend $15 a month or like $180 to play it early. So the people that were playing were either playing because they were EA Access Origin members or whatever, or like some crazy fucking like deluxe VIP edition shit. So yeah, it was expensive. I realize that we have a lot of
the
Anthem
chat are
fans.
calling you a liar.
That's fine. They can go watch Goth and circle jerk the game all they want.
I love it. I
mean, that's where these people are mostly watching the game.
I wish all the people on the podcast could have seen me and Zeke's face just then.
I love when JP gets real, dude. It's rare, but every once in a while he's like, "You don't like my opinion? You can shove it up your fucking ass."
By the way, the funny part about that is the fact that Goth has stopped playing Anthem and is playing Apex right now.
Oh, well, good. Well, whoever then, because I have seen a bunch of streamers that are defending this game, and I don't know why. Well,
again, though, I mean, you have to keep in mind the fun with friends is a big deal, especially for people that have a lot of friends.
It's the reason why I kept playing this game.
And those guys. Yeah, like a lot of. It's funny because I people give Goth a lot of flack a lot of times for his game selection. Like, he's a Destiny guy and a No Man's Sky guy and a Sea of Thieves guy. And, that's like the top 3 most hated games on Twitch. But at the same time, every time he plays with a bunch of his friends and they have a great time and you can watch him having a great time. So it's like, I think quintessential fun with friends games are just so much more enjoyable when you have friends. I don't, so I don't know. I can't really comment to that. But it looks like it's enjoyable.
I'm trying to
find...
find... Cole, you got friends. You got Ben Franklin and Andrew Jackson. And...
I got a cat.
By the way, in case anyone thinks like we're shitting on Goth, like Goth is a friend of ours.
Yeah,
he's been on the show.
Oh yeah, times, yeah. For anyone not knowing, Goth has been on the show numerous times. He's a bro.
Yeah. I'm trying to find some of the gameplay. I'm having the hardest time discerning what part. I think this might be the end of the game. I'm not sure. Like that's how just samey the entire thing is.
You look different.
Yeah. So that's it. Oh, the customization of the mech, it's really cool. Like you can make yourself look fucking sick.
What was with the blue?
I was Mega Man. I had to make my fun out of the game, so I was running around as Mega Man.
Nice.
Yeah, like the world building, the combat for the most part, and like the way that you can make your mech look are probably the best parts of the game, without a doubt. At this point in the game, I was very, very bored. I want to show some of the. So this is like the thing that you can do after you beat it. This might actually be the boss I was talking about, but like
Oh, is it like I'm actually gonna play this for the story? So should I like
this is
spoiler stuff?
the boss of the dungeon that you get after you finish the story. So that's up to you. I just want to show the gameplay because you're not really going to see the boss. So the way that this works is I hit him with my flamethrower here. I can't do it to the boss, but I hit the guys with my flamethrower, and that's kind of like a combo starter. And then you can either use your melee, which is always a combo finisher, which will actually do a combo, or you can do there's this other like lightning thing, like point blank area of effect, where like a lightning thing pops out of your shoulder and electrocutes things around you, and that'll also finish a combo. And so that's kind of your bread and butter gameplay for the most part. At least for me, it was is like figuring out what combos work. See, hit him with that, it combos because there's fire on them, and then the lightning thing on the left.
That is the Andromeda system, by the way, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, probably not. That's it. Like that's.
Oh, is that the fan?
Yeah, those are the fans. Yeah, you have to shoot the fan. Also, this is my favorite gun in a world where guns are not interesting at all. The only reason why this gun is interesting is because you can spin it up when you aim down sights, and it'll sit there and rotate like any other minigun does in most games. But for whatever reason, if you put that in someone's face on their screen, it can cause a crash. And so I would just like walk up to Strippin and like spin this gun in his face, and he would just crash. So me and Max were doing that all night long because we were both playing Colossus, and it was a lot of fun. Some of the other bugs with this game were really fun. Baru had a really fun one where they were in the final mission, the literal final mission, fighting the final boss in the game, him and Siegel, and a level 2 guy quick played into their mission and beat the game.
Oh, dude. Oh, I heard about
Sorry,
this.
level 3.
There was
Level 3.
there was somebody tweeting that like just avoid quick play entirely at lower levels.
Yeah.
Because it does any active mission apparently qualifies for quick play. There's no story barrier.
Yep.
So if you do quick play, it will take you to any mission.
Yep.
It will just drop you in without telling you anything. And a lot of times it'll do it right before it's over. So it's like you'll get credit. Like, oh, it's apparently a total mess.
We ran into something similar where like, I don't know, towards like the second to last mission of the game, the 4 of us would queue, and it didn't matter who was party leader, but we'd start the queue, we'd start the loading process, we'd go through the entire like 2-minute load process, which you sit through a shit ton, like probably hours worth of load time throughout the entire thing. So we'd sit through that. It would finish the load. It would kick me to the multiplayer lobby area, and the other 3 people would get put into a game with a random person. There was no way around this, so I had to do the mission by myself while the other 3 people were doing the mission as well. I just put it on easy and like ran through it because it was a complete joke to do it on easy. Like if you're gonna play this game, play it on hard because it's absolutely mind-numbingly boring on the easiest difficulty. But yeah, that was a fun one. I'm not a fan. I cannot recommend this game whatsoever.
So you're done with it.
I'm done. Yeah, we finished it Saturday night. I uninstalled it the next day because I needed hard drive space for Metro.
What if they were to put in a lot of the stuff you were talking about? What if in March they put in raids and they put in like a lot more interesting, unique drops? And like, is there anything that could save this for you, or are you just done?
I worry that it kind of like what I said earlier. I worry that the main gameplay loop of the way that it loads, the way that like see that green thing I just picked up? So that's an item in game. It says uncommon item. The way to get that item to actually work on your character is to finish the area, load out of the area, load again into the forge, and then look at that item and actually equip it, then load back into the game and start shooting it. You can't just straight up equip it right out of the gate. You have to like sit through all the shit, and that's like one of the most infuriating things. And Zeke, to kind of circle back to what you said and the fact that I play like Path of Exile and all these other grindy games, if an item drops, I can fucking equip it like right then and there. Like it's the power level increases the second I get that to drop. Here you have to sit through 5 minutes of loading screens, 4 minutes of loading screens, like, and I think that's where it's. And then once you do, the number is just bigger, or sometimes it's not even a weapon that you like, so you can't do anything with it except disenchant.
Yeah, I've actually Goth has said the exact same thing about how he doesn't like it, but at the same time, like I think there's also positives to doing it that way, especially if you play with randoms. Like if someone's farming a particular item and it just drops and they get it and leave because they know what it is, you know, like I could see them. I can see reasons doing that, but at the same time, I'm with you from a practicality standpoint. Like when you get loot, you should get loot. Period. Like you should just be able to. But then again, like you can't equip anything in the field, right?
No, not
like,
a single
like,
thing.
You have to go back into your loadouts back there.
Yeah.
They need the metro system.
What's the metro? Oh, the metro system where you can just pull out your bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just hold down tab and you jump out of your javelin and it spins around to the top and you can switch stuff out and then you just hit tab again and you jump back in.
Yeah. 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 I see a lot of people comparing it to like Monster Hunter being the same thing, but in Monster Hunter, you're crafting like a unique looking thing that looks cool and will actually, when you start using that weapon, it will act differently. It will do different things. It has different sharpness to it. It's literally just a fucking number attached to these weapons. That, at least not for the legendary. The other thing is, it's like, oh, you never got to 30. Fuck that. Who would want to grind to 30? It is not a fun experience whatsoever. Here's where that fan just spawned right on me.
Okay. You said that a few times, but I mean, you did have fun with the gameplay.
Oh, initially, yeah.
You seem to be going back and forth. I can't.
You're totally
if
right.
you actually enjoyed playing the game or if you just hated it the whole time.
I definitely enjoyed it when I first started playing it. Like the mechs, it is. I'm trying to think of like the last mech game. It's probably like an Armored Core or something. But like they nail that. Like you fucking look cool. You like walk around like you're in a giant fucking mech. It feels really fun when you start flying. It feels fun when you're shooting this gun, but it's like you do that and that's like there's no evolution in the gameplay. It's that from minute one.
It just got boring.
Yeah, it's there from minute 1 to hour 25 or hour 20. Which maybe, I mean, that might be why I don't play any of the looter shooters, because that's kind of the same throughout all of them.
Well, sort of, but I mean, in most looter shooters, you're constantly advancing your character. Like that's the point. You're constantly getting cool new guns. Like Borderlands, for instance, you know, you're getting crazy new powerful weapons all the time, and you know, there's all sorts of things going up. But yeah.
I wanted so bad to like this game. I want to be very clear about that. I did not go into this game wanting to shit on it. I mean, we all talked about it like 2 weeks ago, how we all wanted this game to be fucking amazing. And it just wasn't at all. I did not.
I'm very interested now.
Did not enjoy
next week. I'll probably have beaten the story by next week. So I'm
Are you going to play through it solo? Well, actually, you can't play through it solo. You have to always play with people.
I think I'm going to play. I've got a lot of people in my community that are actively playing Anthem. So, and a few people that are actually waiting for me to play to start as well. So I think I'm probably going to start tomorrow, but then really kind of dive in Friday morning when hopefully the patch is available. But I mean, I know I can't believe he's saying this in 2019, but I'm actually going to play Anthem for the story. Like I'm going to go around this. I'm going to talk to everyone. I'm going to listen to everyone. I'm going to see if maybe there's some BioWare in there somewhere. I'm going to try to like it. And honestly, there's a little part of me that is considering doing some grinding and stuff just because I know how much money they put into this product.
Right.
And there's this little bit of me that hopes that maybe they'll try to salvage that by putting in some decent stuff down the line. Like some cool raids or maybe some cool weapons or, you know, cool DLC content. I don't know. But I mean, there's a lot of money and time in this project. So my hope is that these companies have been hearing all of the not so positive criticism over the last few weeks. And they're like, okay, let's fix this. I kind of, not that it's to this degree, but I kind of hope they No Man's Sky it a little bit, where they're just kind of like, okay, we need to take this back to the drawing board in a lot of ways. And maybe we'll see kind of a Destiny 2 Forsaken kind of thing happen with it, where they're like, okay, we screwed up, but we're going to try to make it better and fix it for you. But I don't know. I'm even with all the negativity about it, I'm still relatively optimistic to play it, and I'm going to give it the college try, man.
Yeah. I think that there was some level of us shitting on the story because we were 3 other people who were just shitting on the game after a certain point in time. So the story does have some like interesting things that happen.
Dude, I love the story in the beta.
Yeah.
Or the demo with the guys splitting and like that was awesome. The voice acting and it was great.
My favorite part about that, I don't think this is spoiler. Those are like end game missions ish.
Really?
That they put in the VIP demo. Yeah. Like you don't get those until like pretty close towards the end of the game. At least maybe we did them towards the end of the game. I don't know if they open.
I really hope that wasn't like the best mission. Don't say anything. Just stop. Just let me live in my little dream world for at least another few days.
They all blended together, so I honestly can't tell you. I honestly can't tell you.
Oh God, Cat is like it is. It was. It is.
I honestly.
Oh, good. There's a few people saying it wasn't. Thank you, few people.
I'm trying to think about some of the other missions, but
thank you for your lies.
I don't think that there was anything unique in the mission structure outside of go stand in this thing, go kill the rest of these mobs, and go put this ball into this circle. Like, I think that was what we did for like 20 hours. I'm trying to chat. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there, because I might very well be wrong, because a lot of it blended together. But I think
Does your ultimate ever change?
Nope. Your ultimate's always the same as the Colossus, the big gun for the other characters. It is their
Does it ever
ultimates.
get stronger?
No. Not really. Well, that might be wrong. It probably does get stronger because some of the weapon stuff that you can get or component stuff that you can equip like increases your ult by X percentage. But I did see something, and I never actually like the damage goes up. Chat's like fucking losing it. The damage goes up. That's not what he's asking.
I was asking if you replace it with one with new effects or better radius or I think JP knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I realize it gets stronger as you level. As all of your other numbers go up, so do the numbers of your ultimate.
There might be some like in-game stuff that changes, the small stuff about the ult. I don't know. I didn't get to that point. I doubt you will as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see your take on it. I have very negative thoughts on it. Obviously, I won't be jumping back into it. I just wish it was better, man. I just wish the whole game
even with all the negativity, every time I drop in someone playing it, I still just think to myself, like, it looks awesome.
It does. It looks fucking great.
It looks great.
It
should be good.
Some of the fights. Did you ever play Killzone 2?
Yeah, actually.
Do you remember in Killzone 2, the particle effects just sometimes got a little bit much on screen and it looked like fucking confetti? That happens a lot in this game. Especially if you're playing the Colossus and you go with the flamethrower like shock thing, because the mobs are like right in your face and you just see bright flashing fucking colors nonstop. So it can get a little bit overwhelming for those, because I think the Storm, at least from my understanding, the Storm is a class that you can kind of play further back from the rest of the mobs, so you can kind of see a little bit more, which I would probably recommend is the way to play it. This is some of the loot stuff in terms of how you get it. So you can just disenchant straight from this screen. So I would always just disenchant the greens and the white items and save the blues and the purples in case they were better. But even these menus are awful.
Can you talk a little bit about like what are you salvaging for and what do you do with that?
So you can salvage items to get craftable stuff to craft other items. And the way that you craft items, at least up the scale of them, the quality, from gray to green, from green to blue, blue to purple, at least from gray to green and green to blue, was by completing challenges, which is really just a kill tracker. I don't know if those change towards the upper tiers, but it's like kill 50 mobs with the cloudburst gun, and then you can craft a green cloudburst gun. And I don't know if those challenges ever changed at all, but I would assume with the rest of the game how it is, it's probably just like open 20 more chests and kill 50 more mobs or something like that, and you can craft a blue one or a purple one. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if we don't have one yet, maybe we should ping Goth and see if he wants to come in next week. We can.
Yeah, I'd love to have someone on here who enjoys the game, whether that's Goth or someone else.
He's got like 50 plus hours in it now. Like he's been going ham in that shit.
Yeah, I mean this is his wheelhouse, right? It's the looter shooters. That's what Goth plays. That's what kind of that crew plays. Goth.
Cool.
And
I'll report back next week.
Will do. All right, we're due for a break after that, unless there's anything else you guys have.
Just real quick, I'm supposed to not let the show end without seeing some of you doing DDR. We're gonna see that, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And 2, TwitchCon is back in fucking San Diego.
Oh, that
just
was
got
announced?
the fucking email. Oh my god, yeah, I just got the email. That's why I've been quiet for the last like 20 minutes. Because I've reserved my hotel. I'm doing my flight like right fucking now. So that's why I went to get my credit card so I could put in the numbers, and that's why I left for that quick second that I did, because I'm doing it. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be back in San Diego. It is such a better, so it's the best venue.
Was San Diego the one that I skipped? The second one?
Yeah, probably.
San Diego's awesome.
I think
San Diego is built for it because that's where Comic-Con is. The Comic-Con.
Oh no, I'm an idiot. I was there. Yeah, I was okay. That's the one.
Yeah,
that,
we did a dinner there, JP.
I was there. Yeah.
The convention center is right across the street from most of like a cluster of hotels and bars. The gas.
Zeke, check your
lamp.
Skype.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say gas light. But okay, I will check it. Because gas lighting is something completely else. Gas lamp district is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just right across. Everything is in like a very centralized area. It's a huge convention center, many points of ingress. Like you can I'm so excited. I can't. Like it was perfect the first time they had it there. I probably because of financial reasons they moved it, but I'm glad they're fucking moving it back.
How was the line bullshit at San Diego? Was it fine? Because like. I don't think there was any issues with people waiting in lines or anything at that TwitchCon, right? Like it seemed to flow pretty well. Granted, it was smaller, I think.
Well, here's the thing with the San Diego for the TwitchCon that we had. The first one we had there was 1, the lines I don't think were much of an issue, and 2, the party, the big like official Twitch party was in the baseball stadium.
That
was
right.
Like 3 blocks away. It was great. It was perfect. This huge stadium. We had it all to ourselves. And fucking what's his name? Cake thrower guy was there.
Oh, Steve Aoki.
There you go. Yeah.
I had to think for a second. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that's cool. That's some good news. We'll go reserve your hotel. Tickets aren't on sale or anything, right? They just announced that it's coming back to San Jose. That's it.
I don't think the tickets are on sale yet.
I'll just ask it here. Zeke, what hotel?
What hotel? What hotel am I staying at?
That's what a Skype. Don't put. Just message each other.
No one's getting dude. There's hundreds of rooms in any hotel.
Yeah, but there's only one. There's only one Zeke, and there's only one Co. And it's pretty easy to find y'all's names. So I'm going to stop talking about how easy it would be to find your hotel rooms. So fucking do it over Skype.
Put it in Skype, Zeke.
They don't give you can't just call in and be like, hey, I'm looking for Zeke. His first and last name. Can you tell me what room he's in? They don't just go, oh yeah, he's in this room.
I think your compatriot here is on the other side, Zeke. So just message him on Skype.
Let's talk more typing.
I'll message him. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to take a break. These two will actually talk about that stuff off stream so they don't get stalked at TwitchCon 2019, which is always a good thing. And we'll come back and talk, I don't know, DDR, Resident Evil 2 with Zeke. Did you do an Indie Sunday? No, right? You didn't?
No, I had a nice 3-day staycation where I let the darkness take hold.
You always got to do that. That's how, go play Kingdom Hearts, man. You just got to sometimes do that.
We could talk about that if everybody wants to be sad.
We'll come back and figure it out after this. So don't go to more drop frames right after this. We'll see you guys then.